no better way to understand the impact of Gilda's than to hear from one of our members directly. It is my true honor tonight to introduce to you Kara Tatelbaum.
Our kids were in that video. It was very exciting. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to speak as a very grateful member of Gilda's Club. Also, thank you for giving me an opportunity to get out and to wear this dress. I bought this dress for New Year's for a wedding in 2018. Life was starting to really take off for us as a family. 2019 was going to be our year. We were at a postpartum baby time with our kids. Our 5-year-old daughter, Matea, started kindergarten, and Finn began his TWOS program. I was going back to a fuller teaching schedule. Shane was working out and getting healthier. In fact, when Shane started losing weight after New Year's, we figured his working out was really paying off. When we were hit with the news, Shane's weight loss and subsequent bathroom issues were not from stress, as his primary doctor suggested, but instead from stage 4 colon cancer. It was as if time stopped. Everything was moving too fast. Chemo, surgeries, hospital stays, more chemo, more hospital visits. Even though it was Shane who had cancer, we soon realized that this awful disease would be impacting our entire family. Matea couldn't sleep. She was throwing tantrums at school, crying uncontrollably. Her teachers didn't know what to do. Finn kept getting sick too. We lived at doctor's offices. Panic attacks kept me up at night. I started to have to leave work to get the kids at school. Shane was so sick he could hardly function, even though he tried desperately to. He kept having fevers and began a cycle of getting admitted to Sloan Kettering unexpectedly, throwing everything into a tizzy. The week Shane was diagnosed, the social worker at Sloan gave us a list of resources. Gilda's Club was on it. Then a family friend suggested we look into Gilda's Club too. It seemed meant to be, so we scheduled our first family session a couple of months after Shane was diagnosed. We were greeted warmly and taken right into Noogie Land. The kids started playing and we started talking. It was the first time we were able to say what was really going on. From the outside, we looked like a brave family conquering it all. But inside, we were spiraling. The kids were happy in Noogie Land. They loved the activities there. Matea was invited to join the Kids Connect group, but they met Thursday nights, like tonight, at 6 p.m. That was too late for us, I said. She went to bed at 7. After several calls from the school nurse and her teachers, it was clear Matea was struggling. She wasn't connecting with her peers. She was off alone reading or having crying spells. I emailed the director of the Kids Connect program and she gave me advice. I started emailing her. She gave me more advice. I started calling instead of emailing. She talked me off a ledge a few times. I was really relying on her and wondering all the time, how could this be free? I was talking to Gilda's at least a few times a week. It was time for Matea to get support too. I signed her up for the Kids Connect group. The hell with bedtime. We were in survival mode. Problem was, I didn't really drive. I always lived in the city. Now we were in Riverdale and I was driving a little bit, but not really on highways. I knew Matea needed to get to the group. I put on the navigation and we got there the first night by the skin of our teeth. I didn't let Matea see how nervous I was, not just about the driving, but what would these other kids be like? Would she meet kids whose parents died of cancer? Would that scare her too much? When we got to Gilda, she ran right into Noogie Land. She loved that I was not allowed to go in there anymore because it is for kids only. I went upstairs and waited for her in the warm and welcoming library on the second floor. When time was up, I went downstairs to meet her. She ran out of that room, skipping, laughing, smiling. What in the world happened in that hour? Matea didn't say much when we got into the car, just that she had fun. It was pouring rain, and the ride home was harrowing. I almost had to pull over. It was my worst nightmare. Exactly why I don't drive. We got home, and when Matea went to bed, I told Shane I could not do that drive again. It was too much, but I knew that Matea came alive again, and she needed to be there. The director of the Gilda's Kids Connect program called me the next day and told me Matea had been talking to another child about her dad's port, and then he told her about his dad's port. Apparently, this child had never spoken in a group before. Matea talked openly about colon cancer and knew more than I realized. She also put on a puppet show with her new friend, and the director raved about Matea. But how could I get her there? From that point on, my dad, who's sitting right there, he stepped in to help. He drove from Poughkeepsie to Riverdale every other Thursday to pick Matea up. Her other grandfather drove her too. Everyone stepped up to get Matea to Noogieland, her happy place. My dad was even invited to join a group one night and drove us to family game nights where we got to meet Matea's new friends and their families. We started taking advantage of Gilda's Club as a family even more. Shane joined a group and did a resilience workshop. Matea was able to add her handprint to the children's wall at Noogieland and is so proud. Both kids participate in weekly art classes and children's museum events. I was invited to speak as a parent from Kids Connect to a school forum and to the board. Being able to talk about Shane's cancer and our family's struggle made me stronger. I was finding my voice. I'm very happy to report Shane is now in remission. Matea enjoys weekly sessions at Gilda's, and Finn can't wait to join Kids Connect in the brand new Noogieland. Special thanks to our new friends, George to the rescue. The kids are also, I am too, and Shane is too, very excited about our TV debut. In closing, I want to emphasize that one of the hardest parts about being a young family struggling with serious illness is the financial aspect. Things were tight before Shane was diagnosed. Then things were dire. There is no way in the world we would be able to pay for all of the counseling groups, Zooms, and calls from Gilda's. It is because of each and every one of you and your generous donations is what makes this all possible for my family and hundreds of other families in our community out there that truly need and rely on Gilda's Club. As Gilda herself said, there are those who open their hearts to others, who never think about giving of themselves. These are the warm-hearted people who make all the difference in our lives. So, to all of you here tonight, please know Gilda was talking about you. Thank you for your big hearts and incredible donations. Take it from me, every dollar raised tonight truly makes a difference. To support people like me and my family who need this support. So, thank you, Gilda's Club, for holding us steady, lifting us up, providing a compass, and introducing us to others who need anchors and will hold our hands too. We are so grateful for it all. Thank you.
Let's keep it going, guys.